Hi. Just say hi.
Hi.
Say a bit louder. Hi.
Hi.
Anyways, okay, ready to go. We've been recording now for 2 minutes.
Okay. Hi, my name is Louise.
And hi, I'm Emma.
And you're listening to Murder or Myth,
The true crime podcast where not everything is true.
The aim of the game is to find out whether the story is actually a murder or if it's just a myth.
Now, let's get started.
So today I'm going to be telling Emma a story about a couple, Michael Peterson and Kathleen Atwater.
Atwater.
So Michael was an American author. He was a journalist for a short period of time before writing war novels, taking from his experience in the military during the Vietnam War.
Okay.
And his wife, Kathleen Atwater, telecommunications executive. The couple lived in Durham, North Carolina, and had both been married previously and since divorced.
Okay.
So Michael...
Their second marriage, both?
Both second marriage, yeah. So Michael had 2 sons from his previous marriage, as well as 2 adopted daughters, and Kathleen had 1 daughter.
Right.
So I'm going to talk about these
5
adopted
children.
daughters. So 5 children altogether in their family.
Okay.
So these adopted daughters were children of George and Elizabeth Ratliff, who were good friends of Michael and his first wife, Patricia. So we're on
Right,
Michael's
okay.
first marriage at the
Right.
minute.
Right.
George had died in the military, but the couple had stayed friends with his wife Elizabeth and their children.
Mm-hmm.
One night, the families were having dinner together at the Ratliff's home when the next morning, Elizabeth was found dead at the bottom of the staircase by the nanny.
Okay, so her husband had died.
Her husband had
only
previously
her.
died in the military.
Yeah, it's only her, and they come for dinner. Next day, bam, she's dead.
She's dead at the bottom of the stairs. Nanny finds her.
Whoa.
Now, what we'll hear later on is that this is disturbingly similar to the death of Michael's second wife, Kathleen. However, he was not a suspect at this time in the case and was never charged with her death. Michael and his first wife then ended up adopting the 2 daughters in the Ratliff's family, as both parents were dead. They were orphans now.
Yeah.
Many years pass, and we're now on to Michael and his second wife. So he had divorced from Patricia, and himself and Kathleen had lived down the street from each other, and they had met through their daughters being friends.
Right.
The couple began dating, and in 1989 they bought a house together. So I
Okay.
haven't really mentioned the date, but this is around the 1980s.
And do we know what happened to Kathleen's previous husband, or was that just non-eventful?
Not eventful.
Grand. Okay.
They just divorced and moved on.
Cool.
So they married in 1997, just 4 years before the death of Kathleen.
Right. Okay.
So on the night of December 9th, 2001, Michael called 911, telling the dispatcher, quote, "My wife had an accident. She's still breathing. She fell down the stairs."
Okay.
He said he had been outside at the pool smoking a cigar when he returned inside around 2:40 a.m. and found his wife unconscious at the bottom of the stairs.
Yes.
A few minutes later, he called 911 again and stated that his wife was dead. The dispatchers, or not the dispatchers, but I suppose like the emergency services hadn't come quick enough.
Yeah.
And he was now calling again saying she was dead. When it came to court, he was later criticised for not answering all of the dispatchers' questions, which is a little bit sus.
Oh, was it like a panic situation, or like trying, like, you know, he kind of...
It seemed he wouldn't fully cooperate with them.
Okay, yeah, I get you.
But again, like, maybe that could have been down to panic. Maybe he was just extremely flustered.
Yeah.
So Michael claimed that Kathleen had attempted to walk up a poorly lit stairwell after drinking wine and taking Valium. So what he thought had happened was that she had fell, struck her head, and bled to death.
Mm-hmm. But that would probably take a lot of effort, like, you don't just trip down the stairs and you're bleeding to death unless you hit something sharp.
Well, that she had banged her head extremely hard.
Fair,
Now
okay.
she
Yeah, I
get
suppose
into the
if you
cause
fell
of
down
death.
a full
Yeah.
flight of stairs,
And
you'd
if you're intoxicated, you're not
Yeah.
fully, like,
you're not going to catch yourself.
you're going to fall in a much
Yeah.
more
Bad way.
much worse way, yeah. So the toxicology results showed that Kathleen's blood alcohol content was 0.07%. So that's about 1 drink. Like, that's kind of the limit for a breathalyzer.
Oh, so it's not...
So
and not that
very
much,
high. Now,
considering.
she had taken between 5 and 15 milligrams of Valium,
Okay.
which is a dosage, but on the higher end.
Right.
I believe.
That's kind of a sedative, is it? Like, it's a
That's
relaxant?
like, it's basically, it's kind of like tranquilizer. Like,
Yeah,
you take it
okay.
for, like, anxiety, but it would also, like, put you to sleep.
Yeah.
It's like a relaxant, yeah.
Okay. Got ya.
The medical examiner concluded that Kathleen had died from lacerations of the scalp caused by a homicidal assault.
Oh, so
That
not...
they were the result of repeated blows with a light, rigid weapon.
Mm-hmm.
However, the defence's analysis concluded that the lacerations were not consistent of blows of any sort, that they were due to the head being hit,
Yes.
because there was no underlying injury such as skull fractures, bruising, or hemorrhaging of the brain.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They're arguing there's no proof that this was like a blunt force trauma that was caused by homicide.
Yeah.
It's just trauma to the brain that caused her death.
So sorry, who was saying the second point?
The defense. Michael's defense
perfect.
in the court. Another sus detail is Kathleen's prints were nowhere to be found on the 2 wine glasses that were sitting out on the kitchen counter. So we don't know if she had actually consumed that much alcohol because it was so low in her system. Like, that could have been from much earlier in the day. So, but Kathleen and Michael were the only 2 people of residence in the house.
Mm-hmm.
So Michael immediately became number 1 suspect in this case. Now, the defense argued that there were rumours at the time going around of Michael's alleged affair. So Michael is a bit well known as an American novelist. There are rumours going around that he was having an affair and that Kathleen found out his relationship was with a man and wanted to end the marriage.
Okay.
So the defense argued that obviously there's a lot of stigma with gay men in the military and things like that, and that Michael was afraid that she was going to out him.
Oh, right, okay.
And that's why he decided to murder her. However, the rumours of an affair were never confirmed.
Okay, so it's her, like, speculation.
It's only pure speculation.
And who brought that speculation to light?
I believe when he was in the army, there had been certain rumours that he was bisexual.
Okay.
And then the defence spurred this on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, got it.
Eventually, Durham Court jury found Michael guilty of the murder of Kathleen, and he was sentenced to life in prison.
Wow, okay.
Now, after 8 years, he was granted a new trial after the judge ruled a critical prosecution witness gave misleading testimony.
Oh, right.
In 2017, Michael submitted an Alford plea to the reduced charge of manslaughter, and he was sentenced to time already served and freed. So he's now out of prison.
So he's let go.
He's let go.
Did he serve many years in total, sorry?
So he's out in 2017 and he went in 2001, so 16 years.
Oh, okay.
So an Alford plea is a type of plea agreement where a criminal defendant pleads guilty to an offence but at the same time maintains his or her innocence. So I don't fully understand it, but it's basically saying that I'm innocent but I'm serving the time for what the jury is saying I would be guilty of.
Okay.
But also, I'm not committing to this. Defendant can't request this, but a judge can sometimes allow it.
Okay, that's very odd.
Yeah. And that is the end of my story.
Great story.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's the way I tell them.
I think I know this story. I'm gonna say it's a murder because it sounds really familiar to me.
Oh, really? Do you know it?
I think I know it if it is a murder. If it's not a murder, it's very close to a murder story.
It is a murder. Yeah.
I know this story. I've heard this story, yeah. I wrote down earlier on in the thing, when you said smoking a cigar out by the pool, I was like, that's the detail that I knew for sure.
I wish you do not listen to so many podcast episodes of True Crime.
I was like, Louise is going to hate me for this, but I know this
famous.
One. Yeah.
So, yeah, in 2001, after his arrest, a French documentary miniseries called The Staircase came out.
Yeah.
And then, after he was freed, he's also written a memoir titled Behind the Staircase, and then that was just last year picked up in a miniseries. So it is kind of well known, but I didn't think you would have known it.
No, it was on my podcast.
But I really want to watch one of the documentaries now because there was so much detail in this murder case that like I couldn't fully get into everything.
Yeah,
although I probably could have gotten into it a bit more. I feel like it was short enough, but
it was like everything from like the phone call that he was kind of like, you know, bringing them around in circles and give them all the details.
Yeah.
And if she was actively bleeding out and still alive,
but I thought it
be
was
more
like a very basic story. I thought maybe you'd think it was a myth, but it's annoying that you've heard of it.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I was like, you're gonna not like me, but I know this one.
How do you know it from My Favorite Murder?
From My Favorite Murder, yeah, ages ago, but I just remember it.
I guess they would do it because it is kind of a high profile one.
Yeah, and it's like, as well, it's like, is it him? Was it him? Like, it so obviously was him, but at the same time, they're like, technically it could be circumstantial. But did they reckon that he took like a leg off a table or like a spindle off the rail or something? And
yeah, or like a fire poke was also.
Yeah.
But do you reckon he killed the other one, Elizabeth?
Yeah, if they're the same, like, for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. But I thought it was crazy that he was freed. Like, that just seems scary
and, like,
to
what
me.
What is that plea?
I genuinely couldn't understand it. Like, I looked
at
it for like 10 minutes and I was like, I need a law degree to understand this. Like, it was so confusing. But it seems like you're basically saying, I'm not going to admit I'm guilty, I'm not going to admit I'm innocent. admit I'm innocent.
But I'm just going to get out.
If the circumstances say you're guilty, then you're guilty, no? Like, it doesn't matter if you admit to it or not.
Yeah. I don't know. Crazy.
Yeah. But, oh yeah, sorry, I think I kind of messed up. Basically, it's not a defendant's right to have one, but they can ask for it.
Yeah, so
and then the judge can decide to give it. Yeah. But, yeah, you're not entitled to, like, have it considered.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. Maybe because he's got power.
Maybe.
Well,
gotta get powerful.
5 minute podcast. Okay, so this has been Murder or Myth with your hosts, Louise and Emma.
And on this week's episode, I actually have heard of the murder story before, so the murder story was in fact a murder story.
Do you think you would have known if you hadn't heard of it?
If I hadn't heard of it, obviously it would have been a different thing altogether.
Not known, but like, what do you think you would have guessed?
Oh, maybe, see, I can't even say that though, because I do know
it like
of it.
that though. Maybe we should do it as a guess, even if you have heard of it. I'm wondering.
But how would you do it? You just guess murder the whole time.
Yeah, true. Okay. Thanks for listening. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Join us next week for another thrilling adventure.
Find us on all streaming platforms. Slay.